good day everyone.
The first Filipinos. Who were the first people to live in the Philippines? What happened to them? Where are they now? The questions in the past cannot be fully be answered, even by the best scientists who study about our early ancestors. The best explanation we have about our distant past comes from the three main sources: the story of God's creation in the Bible, the theories of evolution made up by human scientists, legends and fairy tales made up by imaginative people. The first one is a biblical story. According to the Holy Bible, all men and women originated from the first man, Adam, and the first woman, Eve. Historians do not believe in the history of creations in the Holy Bible. Instead, they have invented the theory of evolution, or the story how first man came from apple-like creatures who walked the face of the earth thousands of years ago. So the second one is scientific theories. Some of scientific theories is the theory of evolution that believe man came from apple-like creatures who lived 1,000 years ago in caves and have very cryptos waves of migration theory. They believe that early Filipino came from the waves of migration, Negritos, Indonesian, Malays, who peopled this island 1,000 years ago.
Theory of wave migration. The Philippines was once connected to the mainland Asia by the land bridges, which gradually sink in the China Sea as a result of constant leveling work of ocean waves. According to Henry Otley Beyer, it was through these land bridges that the first inhabitants came over to the Philippines. According to the migration theory, our country was settled by three kinds of people. Negrito from Borneo, they live by hunting, fishing, and gathering plants and fruits. They use bow and arrow for hunting. Indonesians are from China, and Indochina came about 5,000 years ago, and the first immigrants to come by the sea to the Philippines. The Malays came after Indonesians about 2,000 years ago. They also arrived with boats from Southeast Asia. The Malay were more civilized than Indonesians. They lived in larger villages, had government, writing, music, arts, and sciences. They lived by agriculture, fishing, mining, and trading. Filipinos today comes from Malay or brown race.
And the core population theory believes that early Filipinos came from the settlers within the island, not from outside. And in fact, our ancestors migrated outside to other nearby islands to spread our own culture to the other islands.
My topic is about Philip Landagiucano, question and challenge in Philippine prehistory. Philip Landagiucano, a Filipino anthropologist, was behind the development of core population theory, otherwise known as the evolution theory, and one of the first to question Bayer's wave migration theory. Significant body of work within the field of Philippine culture anthropologists, widely recognized as country's foremost cultural anthropologist during his lifetime. Proponent of the core population theory of the peopling of Southeast Asia. Renowned Filipino anthropologist Philip Landagiucano disputes Bayer's belief that Filipino descendant from Negritos and Malays who migrate of Philippines 1,000 years ago. According to Giucano, it is difficulties to prove that Negritos were not first inhabitants of the country. Cagayan man ang tabon man Homo erectus Philippines. Homo erectus Philippines. Cagayan, in 1970, the National Museum archaeologist started to work in Cagayan Valley exploration of all places where fossil stones appeared. The initial problem was to determine the age of the material. After a number of years, of study, it was determined that the rock layer's name was formed during the Ice Age. Kagayan man ang tabon man, Homo sapiens. It is difficult to come up with a perfect theory. The artifacts cannot speak for themselves. Dr. Eusebio Dizon, a National Museum, and Dr. Robert Fox, feature in National Museum. Why Palawan? Palawan is the perfect corridor that bridges the Philippines to Borneo. Homo sapiens, in these islands of the Tabon man of Palawan, the discovery of human fossil was made by a National Museum team headed by the late Dr. Robert B. Fox.
Austronesian Migration by Fernando N. Jalcita. The Austronesian theory of migration proves to be the one of the most palpable reasons for the interconnections of cultures within Southeast Asia. According to Encarta Reference Library, Austronesian languages, formerly called Malayo-Polynesian languages, is the one of world's largest language families, both in terms of numbers of languages, more than 700, and geographic spread, covering islands and some mainland areas from Madagascar in the west to Eastern Island and Hawaii in the east. Both groups of evolutionists, however, believe that the first man in the Philippines lived in Palawan about 25,000 years ago. The first Filipino lived in the caves at Tabon, Palawan. Thus, they are called the Tabonman. They belong to the Stone Age culture. They used stone tools and has no knowledge about the use of metal. Hunted wild animals with the crude stone tools and makes clothes using simple stone tools. They did not know how to farm and raise animals. They were short with the bushy eyebrows and low forehead. They lived in a very harsh surrounding, and it was daily battle for survival. Most of the time was spent looking for food. For further explanation about Austronesian migration, Felizardo Almaden will discuss it.
Have a good day, everyone. So today we are going to discuss about Austronesian migration. When you hear Austronesian migration, what comes in your mind? Migration is the people who are living in a specific place transferred to another places. So according to Peter Billwood, he stated in his theory that the main reason why people are transferring to other places because of barter food. So food is very important in daily life, isn't it? Because without food, we cannot live in these beautiful and wonderful places. Also, according to Peter Billwood, he stated in his theory that the origin of the Filipino people came from Taiwan. While, according to Wilhelm Solomon, he stated in his theory that the origin of the Filipino people came from Celebes and Sulu. So, the two philosophers have the same idea about Austronesian migration. While the origin of the Filipino people, they have different. I said a while ago that the origin of the Filipino people, according to Peter, came from Taiwan, while Wilhelm came from Sulu and Celebes. Once again, my topic is about Austronesian migration. I hope you understood my topic and thank you for your listening. God bless us all.
I'll tell you this, the summary of the story of Malakas and Maganda. One day, the god was so sad and alone. He used his power to create the earth, the ocean, the mountains, and the trees and animals. One day the king of birds was strolling around the forest. He flew to the forest and he saw a bamboo bending because of the wind. He stopped and rested. Then he heard a voice calling of a help inside the bamboo. He didn't back until he picked the lizard and made the bamboo open. Malakas come out. He told the king of birds to help Maganda to come out. Malakas asked the king of birds to live with them, but the king of birds refused because he is a bird and he belonged to the blue sky. He let the two to ride on him, and he sent to the land of the morning. Then that's the parents of the Filipino.